Why expectations create frustration. We rarely suffer because of what happens. We suffer because of what we expected to happen. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, and one of the most liberating. We live surrounded by expectations about people, about ourselves, about life, about how things should unfold. And most of the time, we don't even notice them. They operate silently, in the background, like invisible contracts we sign with reality. An expectation is not a plan. It is not an intention. It is not a goal. An expectation is a demand that reality behave according to our internal script. We expect people to understand us. We expect situations to be fair. We expect effort to guarantee results. We expect time to heal everything. We expect life to make sense. And when these expectations are not fulfilled, we call it frustration. But frustration is not caused by reality. It is caused by the gap between reality and imagination. The Stoics did not see expectations as hope. They saw them as a subtle form of attachment to outcomes, attachment to versions of the future, attachment to how things should be. And attachment is always risky because the future does not belong to us. We like to think expectations prepare us, but most of the time, they do the opposite. They make us fragile, because when we expect, we stop relating to what is and start living inside what might be. We leave the present moment and move into a mental projection. This is why expectations create anxiety. They pull the mind into a future that does not exist yet. And this is why expectations create frustration, because the future rarely follows our internal narrative. Reality does not reject us. It simply does not follow our script. There is a fundamental difference between acting and expecting. Action is something you control. Expectation is something you demand. Action is grounded in the present. Expectation lives in the future. Action says, I will do my part. Expectation says, life owes me a result. The Stoic path is not about eliminating desire. It is about transforming desire into intention, to act without demanding, to engage without clinging, to move without insisting on outcomes. Most suffering is not created by what happens. It is created by what we thought should have happened, not by loss, but by imagined permanence, not by change, but by imagined stability, not by effort, but by imagined reward. When we drop expectations, we do not become passive, we become precise. We stop wasting energy fighting reality and start investing energy in what is possible. We replace disappointment with clarity, frustration with adaptation, anxiety with presence. The paradox is this: the less we expect from life, the more we can actually experience it. The less we demand from reality, the more open we become to it. The less we insist on outcomes, the more grounded our actions become. Expectations promise comfort, but deliver tension. They promise security, but create vulnerability. They promise meaning, but generate resistance. Reality does not need to be different. Our relationship with it does. To live without expectations is not to live without direction. It is to live without illusions, without internal contracts, without silent demands, without imaginary guarantees. You still act, you still care, you still move forward, but you no longer require the world to behave according to your hopes. Expectation says, this should happen. Presence says, this is happening, and only one of them is real. When you stop expecting, you stop negotiating with the future, and you finally return to the only place where life actually exists. Now, quiet discipline. Drop the expectation, and you recover the present moment.